Hey there, Twisters. So this is going to be a fun one. Today I'm ranking the 30 best players in the NHL today without a Stanley Cup. This is something that I typically wouldn't make on this channel, but lo and behold, it was suggested to me by MVP member Mike Thompson. So he said, can you rank the 25 best players in the NHL today? And I said, man, I just don't feel the confidence to do that because really, I watch as much hockey as I can, but in terms of watching all 32 teams, it's just not like that with me. So I said, all right, well, yeah. You know what, man? For your support, I'm going to take a shot at this, but with a twist. And I say that because when we talk about the greatest players in the NHL, we often attach their legacy to Stanley Cups. So I'm going to throw that out the window. We're going to focus just on players who have not won a Stanley Cup, who are still performing at a top level today. So no rookies as part of this list, and I'm not just going to be, ranking these based on their statistics. I actually did not look at statistics before producing this list. This is based on my observations and in terms of gauging a pulse as to what the hockey community thinks about these players. I will post their stats nonetheless. So anyway, out of these players, even if they're not on your favorite team, which of these players do you want to see win a Stanley Cup next? Stick around, we're going to have all sorts of great videos and live streams throughout the season. And also, if you haven't already, join our Discord where we can continue the conversation. Just see the pinned comment down below. It's entirely free to join that. So I could spend about 15 minutes just talking about honorable mentions, but I'll throw a few names out there before we get into the top 30. So just missing this list include Josh Morrissey, Dougie Hamilton, Tim Stützle, Nico Hischier, Brady Tkachuk, Artemi Panarin, Johnny Gaudreau, Clayton Keller, Kevin Fiala, Adrian Kempe, maybe a couple of goaltenders, but really I think there's a difference between the top four and the ones that come underneath them. So anyway, we kick this list off at number 30 with Mika Zibanejad. I think that he's certainly in that conversation as a top 10 or top 12 center in the NHL, and I do have more centers than wingers on this list. It's because usually the centers are the more all-around talented players. I mean, Mika, he's been basically just a 90-point performer the past several seasons, and there you go. That's about it with Mika. I think that you know what you're going to get out of him over the next couple of seasons. In 29th, I have Dylan Larkin for the Detroit Red Wings. He's played most of his career on a bad Red Wings team, and he continues to progress year after year. He has great speed. He's a great finisher, a very solid leader for that team. And he just keeps progressing, and with Alex DeBrincat possibly on his wing, he should have a career season ahead. All right, in 28th, here's one of the big question marks, right, guys? Again, please disagree with me respectfully, all you want. 28th, I can't not put him on this list. I have Erik Karlsson for the Pittsburgh Penguins. The Norris Trophy season of his on a terrible Sharks team was a spectacle. I watched as much Erik Karlsson as I possibly could. He was a wizard. He was playing chess while everybody on the ice was playing checkers, even on the winning team. I know that he's a defensive liability. That's no surprise at all, but the value that he adds offensively trumps that by quite a bit. All right, in 27th, I have Kyle Connor for the Winnipeg Jets. He's driving a lot of the offense these days. The goal scoring wasn't there this past season, but he's a former 40-goal scorer. He could possibly reach that level again. He's in the prime of his career. An exceptional play driver for the Winnipeg Jets. In 26th, I have Quinn Hughes for the Vancouver Canucks, the new captain over there. I think Quinn Hughes is maybe the best power play quarterback in the NHL from those defensemen who have a left-handed shot. I think it's pretty safe to say that. He's magnificent in that role. In 25th, I have Sebastian Aho for the Carolina Hurricanes. I love Aho. I love that he played with some fire there in the postseason. He was getting pissed off when the rest of his team wasn't able to score goals. His defense is very good. He's used on the penalty kill. Just all around a very solid player, entering the prime of his career, and I think that his contract in the offseason was more than justified. 24th, I'm going to give some respect to Hampus Lindholm for the Boston Bruins. He's played a lot of his career on a bad Ducks team. He comes over to the Bruins, fits in very well with that system, and when Charlie McAvoy was injured this past year, Lindholm was driving a lot of offense. So he has been, over the past couple of seasons, at kind of part of that Norris Trophy conversation as a guy who might be just missing one of those finalist spots. So I think that he certainly does deserve some credit out there. All right, in 23rd, this is one of the two reasons why I'm wearing Buffalo Sabres gear. I've got Tage against the machine, Tage Thompson. Now, is he maybe the best player on the team? Perhaps. I mean, this dude is a giant out there at 6'8", but his hands are magnificent. And what he's able to do with Tuck and Skinner as his line mates is wonderful. He's a very versatile offensive player and one of the more exciting players emerging from that division, I would say. 22nd, I have Roope Hintz with the Dallas Stars. He led all players in postseason scoring by a fair margin, and he didn't even make the Stanley Cup Finals. So I think that should definitely land him a spot on this list. He's one of 3 great weapons on that line. I do have somebody else to talk about. Joe Pavelski, maybe a snub, as still a great winger, but Roope Hintz has been just a perfect fit for that role on Dallas's top line. For 21st, I have Rasmus Dahlin. Maybe he'll be a Norris Trophy finalist this season. Look at how Owen Power had a great full season with Dahlin as his partner. His offense has developed last season, nearly a point per game defender, and I love his physicality. I love the attitude that he plays with. I think that could really help the Buffalo Sabres, the younger players, kind of take a cue from him this upcoming season and get them into the playoffs. So I'm certainly starting to become a big fan of his. In 20th, Roman Josi, he might tail off a little bit, but I still think that he's a fantastic producer, somebody who has carried his team offensively as leading their team in scoring a couple of seasons, and defensively he's been known as a strong player in his own end, a captain of the team for a few years. I think that it would be a disservice to not have him on this list, even if he does kind of tail off a little bit this year, because he is getting into his mid-30s. All right, 19th, I have Sasha Barkov for the Florida Panthers. Now, I've never been a big Barkov fan myself. I just haven't really been drawn to watching him so much, but that's because I'm usually watching the guy with the puck, not the one who's trying to take it away. Barkov, of course, as we know, an exceptional defender, excellent in the faceoff circle, and offensively, he has been deadly before. So I think that he should be part of this list. In 18th, I have my first of 4 goaltenders. So we start with Juuse Saros. I do think that Saros and the guys above him are separate from the rest of the pack of goaltenders in the NHL. Saros, year after year, just Vezina caliber performance with him, postseason or regular season. It's going to be interesting to see where he ends up. After this season, he'll be a free agent, but he's in the prime of his career and he's still consistently performing at a very high level. My 17th ranked player here is Jason Robertson for the Dallas Stars. I just find it really hard to take the puck away from Jason Robertson. He always knows which area of the ice is open for him to, receive a pass or to skate over there and generate a shot. He's an exceptional winger, and again, part of that 3-headed monster on the top line. I expect maybe even another 100-point season from him. Speaking of 100-point seasons, in 16th, I have Elias Pettersson. Just a breakthrough season for him this last year. Can he replicate that? Well, as long as Andrei Kuzmenko is playing on his line, I would think he has a fair chance. He's known, I know, by the fan base as having a strong defensive game as well. His vision and chemistry with Kuzmenko is incredible. Just the way that he's able to anticipate when it will be the best opportunity to deliver that puck to Kuzmenko is wonderful. I only got to see him in a few games this past year, though, so I need to watch a little bit more of Petey. All right, in 15th, I might have ranked him a little bit high to some of you out there, but we're putting some respect on Jacob Slavin's name. He's one of my favorite players in the NHL. It's not just the statistics. His defense in his own zone is magnificent. Offensively, he doesn't do a whole lot, so that's why he's not as high up on this list. But for example, I remember 2 postseasons ago, he led his team in scoring in a first-round win against the Boston Bruins, so he's able to efficiently distribute the puck, even if it's not going to be, a one-timer setup or anything like that. And defensively, he is one of the best I've seen in this era of hockey. I think that it's safe to say he's the best shutdown defenseman in the NHL. 14th, I have Charlie McAvoy, just a little bit ahead of him. McAvoy's known for more offense than somebody like Slavin is, but defensively, he's a punishing, bruising defenseman, and in a lot of lists, he would be a top 5 defenseman in the NHL. 13th, I have Kirill Kaprizov, one of the more electric wingers in the NHL, an excellent playmaker with a lethal shot. And you consider his line mates, Matt Zuccarello and Ryan Hartman, among others, but those players, although they're good, I think that Kaprizov really does elevate their abilities. And so he is the anchor to that team's offense, even though Matt Boldy is certainly rising up in the ranks as well. In 12th, we have Miro Heiskanen. I love watching Miro Heiskanen. He's becoming my favorite Dallas Star because the way that he's able to transition the puck and how he plays above his weight on defense. He's not a very big guy out there. It's just rare that I see him make a mistake out there. So anyway, Heiskanen to me is a top 5 defenseman in the NHL these days. In 11th, boy, I love watching Jack Hughes. I know that the Devils have all sorts of talent, but really it all starts with Jack Hughes, and not just in the offensive zone, but on the forecheck. I always see Hughes along the wall there. His back check is solid as well. But Hughes, just his elusiveness, how he's able to just make it look so easy skating around defenders, he's such a treat to watch out there. So I can't wait to see how he's able to build on this upcoming season. I think he's the best center in the NHL under the age of 25. In 10th, I have Mitch Marner. he had a fantastic year offensively, but let's not forget how good defensively he was, whether even strength or on the penalty kill. He was a finalist for the Selke Trophy. And offensively, he was a great compliment to Austin Matthews, and in the prime of his career, he should be able to keep that going. In ninth, I have Matthew Tkachuk for the Florida Panthers. He had back-to-back 100-point seasons on different teams, and really he lands such a high spot on this list because of how he was able to largely put the team on his back to get them into the postseason, with some help, certainly, like Brandon Montour. He's kind of a snub on this list, you could argue, but Tkachuk really was the top forward to be able to just finish plays for the Florida Panthers. And in the postseason, he was unbelievable. Now in eighth, I have Igor Shesterkin, so our third-ranked goaltender here for the New York Rangers. He's in the prime of his career. When Shesterkin is dialed in and playing at the top of his game, I think it's pretty fair to say that he is the best goaltender in the NHL, and really the margin between him and the other two goaltenders we'll talk about is pretty razor thin. So could he win the Vezina Trophy this next season? Absolutely. I really do like the defense in front of him as well, so they do get some credit when considering our rankings. Seventh on my list is our top winger, and that is David Pastrnak. I just think that his offensive versatility is some of the best in the NHL, and arguably the best at that position. He's so fun to watch. His one-timer is great, and I think that from what I've seen defensively, he's actually fairly underrated as well. He was a Hart Trophy finalist this past season. All right, in sixth, I have Connor Hellebuyck for the Winnipeg Jets. I think that if you look at goaltender starts over the past 5 years, nobody has worked the net more than Connor Hellebuyck, and he's been pretty much every season a Vezina Trophy caliber goaltender. So absolutely have to put some respect on his name. He's carrying more of a workload than he should be in the prime of his career. Could he win a Vezina Trophy this upcoming season if he doesn't get traded? Maybe so. If the Jets go to the playoffs, it's going to be on the back of Connor Hellebuyck, and it's been like that the past few years. All right, my top-ranked defenseman on this list is Adam Fox for the New York Rangers. He lands in fifth, although my top defenseman in the NHL is still Cale Makar right now. Fox is a very complete defenseman. He makes plays in transition and just jumping into the play offensively in ways that very, very few defenders can do in today's NHL. Very gifted, and defensively, I don't really find any big flaws in his game. It does help that he has a good partner out there in Ryan Lindgren, but even so, Fox really did shine for me this past season, even though he's won a Norris Trophy in seasons before. My top goaltender landing fourth on this list is Ilya Sorokin. I think Ilya Sorokin the past 3 years, I would say, is probably the best goalie in the NHL overall. Just on a night in, night out basis, it's all about him. He does have a good defense in front of him. He has a great backup goaltender, so he doesn't have to start 60 plus games. But Sorokin is just rock steady, very reliable, and in the prime of his career, he could do it again this next season. And now we get into our top three. So in third, I've got Austin Matthews. Now, he didn't have that 60 goals that he did the previous year, but people will point out that Matthews has become an even more complete centerman out there. He's great in the faceoff circle. He's doing things right defensively. And they're still driving a lot of play. That top line is for Toronto. So there's no reason why I couldn't have Matthews at least in the top five here. Will he rebound with at least 50 goals this year? That is what I would project, certainly. Second, I have Leon Draisaitl, and I have him probably above Matthews because of one thing. Draisaitl in the postseason is maybe the best performer in the NHL today. He's incredible. When you look at how he overcame an ankle injury 2 postseasons ago and was carrying the Oilers as the playoffs progressed, he was something else out there. And in first, of course, I have Connor McDavid because I've never seen anybody as talented as him in my lifetime. I mean, that's plain and simple. The dominance from both of these players, especially from McDavid in the regular season, the speed, just the jukes. I mean, he's the face of the NHL for that reason. Anyway, guys, what do you think of my list? Who was the biggest snub? Who was too overrated? Let me know. Again, these are players without a Stanley Cup, so no McKinnon, no Crosby, right? Be sure to continue the conversation with me on our Discord. Again, just see a pinned comment down below. I'll also have some links to some other fun videos there. And stick around for more fun videos like this throughout the offseason. We're almost through the offseason. Throughout the season and the postseason and beyond, it'll be just great connecting with fans of all teams here. So no matter who you cheer for, I want to have you around for this upcoming year. All right, guys, be sure to leave a thumbs up, and I'll see you around for the next one. Thank you so much, Twisters. I'll catch you later. Ciao.